Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today we are going to hop into the time machine as we travel way back to the late 90s as we review Jim Lee's WildC.A.T.s Covert Action Teams, and this particular team member is Grifter. So, this was produced by Playmates Toys way back in 1994. So you're looking at a really old action figure that's close to, if I'm doing my math right, 28 years old. So that's pretty crazy. It's 2022. So yeah, this thing's about oh my god, it's about, oh man, 28 years old. All right, so the reason why we're looking at this figure is partially because if you've been watching my channel, I'm kind of jumping on some of these older Playmates toys that aren't necessarily Ninja Turtles. I have a collection of WildC.A.T. action figures in my collection. Most of them are mint on card, but I do also have some that are loose. This figure in particular we're looking at because most recently McFarlane Toys announced that they are releasing a Grifter figure for the DC Multiverse line, and I thought it'd be fun to look at, one of the early versions of Grifter. I want to say this might be his rookie figure. I think this might have been the first Grifter figure ever. I know there hasn't been too much WildC.A.T.s merchandise, ever, outside of the Playmates toys and maybe some PVC figures. But yeah, we're gonna check this out. I'm somewhat, I don't want to say I'm excited about the McFarlane one. I'm more so curious and interested. It doesn't necessarily capture the version of Grifter that I would like. The McFarlane Grifter is more so based off of the modern DC Universe Grifter. And for me, the older 90s Grifter is the much more iconic one. And, this is the figure right here. Here's Grifter. Back in the day, Jim Lee drew a lot of trench coats, and Grifter was seen here in his trench coat, red gloves, red mask. The color scheme is very reminiscent of Deadpool, and it's also like a weird mix between that and Jim Lee's Maverick character from X-Men. Wonderful Jim Lee artwork here, taken from the WildC.A.T.s comic book. The action figure and accessories are beautifully framed inside the bubble. You have Grifter on the left. You have his blasters, his pistol, rifle, and communicator. Trading card, I believe. And he also comes with a display stand, which is hidden behind the character. And the display stand is pretty much the WildC.A.T.s emblem, as we see here. On the back, nice meaty description of the world and the characters. Nice fig photography of the figures available. I believe this was the first wave. So we have Hellspawn, the Daemonite, Warblade, Maul, Spartan, Zealot, and Grifter. And you also get a cool bio card on Grifter right here that you can see. Lots of copy, lots of text. It's even awesome that they even highlight all the different weapons that come with Grifter. So yeah, a lot going on here that could really fuel the child's imagination. And even though the McFarlane figure that's coming out is going to be, as detailed and as articulated as, the rest of the DC Multiverse line, there's something about this older figure that I'm very nostalgic for, and for me, it's a wonderful toy. And lucky for you, we have one loose right here. So here is the actual figure loose. As you can see, not a whole lot going on in terms of articulation. The head rotates, arms rotate. There is articulation at the forearms, articulation at the waist, articulation on the upper leg. There is no knee articulation, no ankle articulation, and no boot cut. The figures in the 90s were weird because even though they're articulated, they were kind of like pre-posed, which defeated the purpose of giving the figures articulation to begin with. So these felt a lot more like display pieces. The Wildcat figures, even though there was a cartoon produced by Nelvana Studios, I think the demographic for these toys were more so adults and comic book collectors. Hence the display stand, hence the kind of like pre-posed figure. But they're still playable. The quality is very much like in line with the rest of the Playmates toys from this era. It's great. I dig this figure a lot. In all honesty, if you took off this lower half of the trench coat, you know, you'd easily have modern day Grifter minus, you know, the harnesses on his chest. The sculpting is very soft on this figure. It's not very realistic. It's not very detailed. It's very much akin to the look on the comic book and the cartoon. Yeah, nice figure all around. So if you grew up during this time period, you know, if you're a comic book guy, you know, if you watched the old WildC.A.T.s cartoon, you might be nostalgic for something like this. You know, if you're a younger fan, a newer comic book reader, and you're more familiar with the modern take on Grifter, this might pique your curiosity just a little bit. I mean, I am looking forward to the new figure. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure I'll purchase it once it's out. But for me, this is the era I lived in. Big fan of WildC.A.T.s back in the day, and I'm glad I have a nice collection of WildC.A.T. figures. So let's wrap this video up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your support. I greatly appreciate it. So, until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.